Hey there, business owner. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Evolution Podcast. This is our weekly episode, and I'm so happy you are here. Let's get started. Hi there, entrepreneur. This is your host, Annette Walter. Welcome to this week's interview for the Entrepreneur Evolution Podcast. This is the place where entrepreneurs like you share their stories and surround one another. They share the real tips, the real talk, and the real-time business tips of what they are doing to impact the community and survive and thrive in their business. Today, I am joined by the co-founder and CEO of Lafayette 148, Deirdre Quinn. She is fantastic. She's phenomenal, and she's a powerful leader. And you're going to love every ounce of wisdom that she shares in this episode. Lafayette 148, New York, is a New York-based women's fashion brand known for their sophisticated clean line designs and luxurious fabrics and the outstanding craftsmanship. And it is just, the product is insane. It's amazing. If you've never worn any of the pieces or any of the outfits from Lafayette 148, you need to go grab something now. Treat yourself, splurge, whatever you want to do, dress your whole closet. Trust me, you need to check this out. It's awesome. And once you hear the interview, you're going to fall in love with the company even more. So you're going to hear how she impacted the company during COVID, shifted, and really made an insane impact in the community as well. I just want you to listen. It's incredible. Some stats and some numbers of how she was able to directly impact New York for what they went through in the heightened stage of COVID. It's incredible. So take a listen. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you leave a review, drop a 5-star rating. I read all of the comments. I read all of the ratings. And it's that time of year. If you are feeling plateaued, overstretched in your business, you need a safe place to have a brain dump and a judgment-free zone to have a quick breakthrough session. The email to me to schedule a carve-out time for yourself for a breakthrough call is in the show notes. I'd love to hear from you and spend some time talking about you and learning more about your business. So let's schedule some time to get today. And in the meantime, keep evolving, entrepreneur. I am so proud of you. Here is Deirdre. Enjoy every ounce of this. Welcome, Deirdre. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you. Nice to be here.
I am so happy you are here. Where are you joining us from today?
I am in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. We've been here for 2 years now, and I'm over looking out the window at Manhattan. So it's always fun to look at the city from wherever you are.
Absolutely. And it's a gorgeous day out there, isn't it?
Beautiful day. A little cold, but we need to sell fall clothes, so I'm happy.
That's right. That's awesome. So today we are joined by Deirdre Quinn. She is the CEO and co-founder of Lafayette 148 New York. And I have to say, this is probably the best I have felt all year. You are so kind and you are so grateful. You sent me this beautiful outfit to wear on our call today, and it is the most beautiful, softest, most amazing material ever. I'm like, my heart is full. It's gorgeous.
It looks great on you. Perfect color.
Thank you. Wow. And these pants are so soft, and like the cashmere tank top. I'm gonna wear it all the time.
Awesome.
So let's start with a quick backdrop of how you started the company. Really catch us up to speed on when you started, how the company grew, and then we'll talk a little bit about today and what this year has been like for you and the company and your team.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll sort of go back 20 years before Lafayette, because I think the journey in your career is a really important part of your career. So without making it too long, I went to school for fashion design. I worked in some garment factories in Hialeah, Florida after school. I worked for Liz Claiborne for 6 years, went over to Donna Karan for 2 years when they launched DKNY, went back to Liz for 4 years as vice president of production. Very much back then it was a man's world. And then I moved to Hong Kong for 2 years and worked for Escada and Ermenegildo Zegna, and was an American telling Italians and Germans about quality in China. So it was a little complicated. Traveled to 70 countries in the world for manufacturing, always trying to figure out how to make it less expensive, to be honest with you. And I got burnt out on it. So 1996 comes around. There's a gnat in here. 1996 comes around, and this lovely couple on Lafayette Street in Lower Manhattan used to make jackets for me. And they asked if we wanted to start our own brand. And the appeal to me was that we would be vertical, that I wouldn't have to run around the world anymore looking for cheaper factories, that we would make everything ourselves, control our quality, control our fit, control our destiny. And so at that time, that was 1996, the three largest players in the section we were in was called Bridge, was Dana Buckman, Ann Klein, and Ellen Tracy. Fast forward 25 years, the world's changed. The zone that we're in is now designer. A lot of things happened along the way, but the journey started in 96 in Chinatown, Lower Manhattan. The garment business was up on 7th Avenue. So just the fact that you weren't in where you're supposed to be, because tradition said that's 7th Avenue and that's where you work. Of course, the world's changed since then. We stayed 22 years on Lafayette Street, and then decided a couple of years ago that your biggest expense is, in our case, is our product. We buy very expensive fabrics, leathers, yarn. The second biggest expense is your people. And I didn't want to touch what you built from a desk and a phone, and just added people when I could afford to the rent. So I went after the rent and said, okay, we'll leave the city. Brooklyn is still New York. We'll come out to the Navy Yard, which is owned by the New York City Economic Development Corporation. And you know what? We left for the savings, but we gained something far better. We gained a different culture. We had 7 floors in our building. So it was almost like running 7 little companies. And here we're all on one floor. So the ability to work together and move quicker than waiting on an elevator, running up and down a stair has been a game changer. So company culture is always got to be number one. For me, it is.
Well, and I love how you just walked through, the product. We didn't want to touch the product at all, because that was one of the most important things, is the quality and that just the feeling of everything. And your people, when you have an amazing team and amazing people, it's priceless, right? Everything works.
My God.
Right?
It's what keeps you through these hard times is the team.
It really does. So now you're not in 7 floors, you're on 1 floor in this space in the Navy Yard. Tell us what 2019 looked like. Let's talk about what the world looked like before all this.
Let's say a year ago, we're sitting in our offices. The phones are ringing like crazy. We're all traveling because that's what we did. I'm on a lot of boards. I'm on the FIT board. I'm on the hospital board. You would leave to go to board meetings, dinners, black tie events. You were just busy like crazy. And then COVID hit. And luckily for me, I do live across the street. I walk a half a block to work in the morning. And, so it's like you would come in here and everything changed. Nobody's traveling. The phones aren't ringing. So the plans changed. I used to do 3-year projections, as most companies do. So 2019, a year ago, we were doing our 3-year projections. We were looking at a good year. We had come off, even Q1 we were rocking it. And then COVID hit, and it made me change in the way that I plan. Until this vaccine is distributed, we're planning quarter by quarter. Even when they want to do 3-year plans, I'm like, you can't do 3-year plans right now. Nobody knows who's going to be in business 3 years from now, and what does the customer want 3 years from now? Is she going to want to go back to dressing for work, or is she going to be working from home? You have to stay fluid. You have to, if anything, if you don't change in any business right now and you put your head in the sand and think that things will go back to normal, I think it's wrong. I think that technology is changing everything. It's certainly for us, it nobody comes to the showroom. So here you have a showroom. We've already been through June market, September market, and December market without customers. But, we still have, the show goes on, right? Because people are still going to wear clothes. So, virtual selling becomes part of the game. My design team would go to our factory and develop the collection. They don't travel now. So, everything that we've had to do is through technology and through computers. I would say 3 years plans happened in 8 months, for sure. And it's that pace will continue. I think it will, you just can't sit back and think, well, I got it figured out. I made it. No way. You have to say, I got to figure it out again and again. And every day you come in and there's a new challenge or a new open-mindedness to what you think is the right way. And I don't think, I'm on a lot of Zoom calls with a lot of executives from the industry or from New York. And it's the good thing is you're not alone. Nobody has the answer. So, just stay optimistic, surround yourself with your team. But in our case, if anything, it's upped our game to make the product better. Wow. Because, we were repositioning the brand prior to COVID. And I'd have to say that the brand for us is the most important asset besides the people that we're focusing on right now.
Well, I saw those beautiful Cashmere joggers on the site. Those look, that's what I have my eye on next. It's like, look amazing. Like just so was that a newer product or was that something that you had along the way?
We've always done this amazing knit dressing and sort of like luxe, because designers love cashmere. It's so like luxurious but we've seen a shift in the amount of knits that we're selling. Knits is up 10% to last year, where jackets are down, and jackets are still there. It's not that people aren't buying them, but and you've got a jacket on and you're feeling great in it, right? But maybe it's less. So jackets is down a little more and casual is up a little more, but we're really cautious not to go too casual. You can't lose sight of what you've built, who your customer is, and when she's ready to come back. So, because we live in the future, it's really hard to predict. When I think about resort, which we have now, or holiday, right. We had beaded, sort of relaxed beading, and luxe cashmere with beaded pants. It's selling. People still want to feel good and look good. So, less is more. We've cut our business model back about 35% in total. And I'm okay with that. I think that the people will be smarter about how much they consume, but I think they will want better, So that's where our focus is.
I think that's a great point. And do you consider yourself a quick decision maker, or how would you describe your decision-making process, you personally?
Okay, personally, I listen a lot.
Okay.
It's really important for me to sort of hear other people's opinions. At the end of the day, you're the boss, you make the decisions. But I'm a big believer in bouncing it off of other executives. And sometimes I do it one-on-one. They might not even know where I'm going with the question, but and I take all that information and then I make a decision. And that's a style that my late business partner, he passed away in 2013, but he told me 2 heads are better than 1, 3 heads are better than 2. So before you make a decision, at least for me, I want to feel, because sometimes as a boss, you're sitting in your office, you're not out in the trenches, you're not really involved in the day-to-day, but you don't want to make a mistake by just doing what you think. I don't have a big ego. I am absolutely the leader of the band, but I need the band.
Absolutely. And I love that the 2 heads are better than 1. And I like that nugget. I really
Thank you. I like that one too.
Yeah, that sounds like a really special one too.
For sure.
So you have this global reach. How was it really watching things happen back in January and February and March? And what did your gut tell you? When did you really know that this was really something that you needed to take and shift and change in your business?
So it came real early for us.
Mm-hmm.
By Chinese New Year, which was early February, we were told like factories shut down and the retail, well, it started actually the retail store in Wuhan. We have 17 stores in China. So all of a sudden Wuhan shut down, and then the retail slowly city by city shut down, and then the factory is shut down, and you're like, wow. And then Italy gets hit and the mills are shut down. And then our shoe suppliers in Spain are shut down. And so you see it coming, but maybe like a tidal wave, you're like staring at it and you're like, oh my God, here it comes. And it came. And we didn't have to shut down because we actually were given this beautiful opportunity to make a difference. So the Navy Yard, because it's got the old World War II hospital here, and it is part of the New York City Economic Development Corporation. So the city needed gowns. I mean, they needed a lot of things, but what we could do make a difference in was gowns. So they got all the tenants in the yard together, whether you had 2 sewing machines or 300 sewing machines, and they asked us all to help make gowns. So we made the patterns. Another guy sourced the fabric because in the beginning, we didn't have the disposable fabric. So, but the hospitals don't have the ability to wash, and the proper sterilization and just saying, oh, you can just keep wearing it. So it was complicated, but together as a yard, we made hundreds of thousands of gowns. We also made masks. We made them, we donated money to City Harvest. We did a promotion for the Navy, for the Brooklyn City Hospital. We raised over $100,000 for them by donating any sales for a certain period, I think it was the month of April. So there was so much that we were able to do that I know my employees, the ones that had to come in were nervous, but we put the sewing machines apart from each other, very, very temperature checks, like before people were even doing it, because we had learned from China. So we had gotten the temperature checks over, the masks over. So when all these shortages happened, we were kind of ready for it. Yeah. And, China, it's crazy, is like getting back to normal. And I can't wait for the vaccine. I mean, it's going to take time, and we know that. I'm not looking at 2021 as it's over. I'm looking at 2021 as can't be worse than 2020. So anything better than 2020 I'll take.
It does feel when I am out there talking to different entrepreneurs like yourself that there's a lot of preparation going on for when the floodgates do open, right? Whenever that is. Hopefully it's later 2020, mid 2020. So how are you, I know that it's a play-by-play, a minute-by-minute kind of month-by-month plan, but is there anything that you kind of are in the back of your head thinking about for when the floodgates do open, when people want to wear their best and be out and socializing and shining in your beautiful product?
I think that, being that we're a vertical company and we control our supply chain, the supply chain's been hit extremely hard. Their capacity's been cut in half. And so, you can't knee jerk that type of an operation. So I really believe for us, we will have better sell-throughs. We also we're working very hard to get directly to the consumer ourselves. We've had a web business since 2005. So we were ahead of the curve on that. It's actually a rather large division. We drop catalogs. I don't know if you've ever gotten our catalog, but we launched the catalogs after the recession in 2009, and we dropped, I think, 11 million catalogs our first year. I think we did 10 different books a year. That the world changed there as well. We're down to 3.5 million catalogs. We're only doing 6 a year, but the catalogs drive to the web. So, we know everybody's talking online is selling much more than brick and mortar, and it is true, but our customer is in a zone that isn't ready yet to invest in clothes the way they did. I truly believe they're living off their closet. Okay, we like everyone gain a little weight or lose a little weight over this, so they need something new. And we're focusing on this amazing product, but we're watching, we also know safety is important. So we launched in the middle of this Atelier Direct, which is it's sort of like these salespeople across the country that sell to the customer one-on-one. And we really believe that this is another avenue for the future for her. We do special cuts for large sizes or petites, and it's an area we believe in, that you can't really go to stores and find it anymore, but you can find it online. You can do it as home shopping or luck shopping, because that's the way we look at it. We're opening a lot of stores. I cannot believe this, but during COVID, we will have opened 12 stores before the end of or signed leases and opened.
Or globally?
Just in the US. Okay. Globally, it's even more. And the main reason is, first of all, there's sort of like two things going on. When we had orders canceled in March, when COVID hit, from the department stores, and we honestly got stuck with 77,000 garments. And whether it was in fabric form, it was in our warehouse already, it was like, what are you going to do? So, as an entrepreneur and as a company, survival kicks in. So we opened some pop-up outlet stores. We opened Riverhead, Long Island. We opened a second outlet up at Woodbury. We're in the process right now of opening a few more, 3 or 4 more by like February. And they're 1-year outlets. Some of them are 6 months. Some of them are 2 years. But let's say they're averaging a year. We'll see where we are a year from now. I just want, it's a cash flow game, and it's cleaning up your inventory, but also changing your business model. We're also opening full price stores because there's an opportunity right now. We've never had a lot of stores. So a lot of people had a lot of stores. So they need to get rid of the stores that aren't performing. But if you don't have a lot of stores and you're repositioning your brand, you have opportunities to put your brand in the malls. Like honestly, last week we opened Bell Harbor. Very proud of that. We're opening Short Hills this week. We're opening on Green Street in the spring. We're opening in Canada on Bloor Street. I can go on and on. There is so much going on. And I think entrepreneurs, and since you're all on this call, know that, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You got to get up, you got to brush yourself off, you have to lead, and you have to, make decisions. And it's not just you make a decision and you hope it works. You got to make it work. You just have to make it work.
Right. There's so much opportunity out there. And I bet, looking at mall space and negotiating creative leases, shorter term leases,
Sure.
No one would have probably dreamt of doing a 1-year lease prior to all of this, right? It was all 7, or if you were lucky, 10, right? So
it was so funny though. China was like 6 months to 3 years is the longest lease in China. So we were sort of used to that. We thought it was crazy. What do you mean I can open a store for 6 months? But sometimes what happens is you sign a lease for 6 months, and then if you're doing good, you get another 6. And if you're doing good, maybe you get another 12. But ultimately, within every couple of years, they are redoing the stores, relaying it out. So we sort of had that culture from China, and we've adapted it here, and it is crazy, but it's good, because if you're wrong with where you are, you're not stuck for 7 years or 10 years. So everybody's learned from this.
You have such a really wide perspective of things, and not only the perspective, but the timing of things, whether it be seasonally or whether it be just, through different parts of the world geographically. So what excites you the most in the work that you do from a global standpoint?
The opportunity to build something from the ground up, and get it to 25 years old, and then feel like we're just beginning. It's like a fresh start. It's like, instead of me leaving and starting something else, like we get to continue to evolve. Our customer loves our quality, loves our fit, loves our design. Sorry, there's this gnat is still here. Get out of here. Loves everything about our product. So we want to dress her every day. We want to dress her head to toe. You know, whether Emily's got this beautiful bag that she's doing, or shoes that complete the outfit, or, a scarf, a hat. I think those are the things, instead of saying, well, we don't do that, it's like, well, let's do that. But like, if someone said to me, let's do men's, I'm like, no, we're not gonna do men's. Let's do kids. No, we're not gonna do kids. At least not now. I've learned to never say never, because I never thought that I would be excited about opening retail stores. When we first started the company, we opened 5 stores our first year in business, and we closed 5 stores our first year in business.
Wow.
So wow, that was the 90s. We thought we needed $1 million, and 10 million later, we ran out of money. Those weren't fun days. But you know what? It does teach you that don't live beyond your means. I think if COVID would have hit and we were in a conservative company, and we are a conservative company, it would be terrible. If we didn't move to Brooklyn, it would have been, the rent alone would have potentially, caused a disaster around here. So I think what excites me is also the customer. I love to listen to the customer. I love a happy customer, and we have plenty of them. But more importantly, I love to hear what we can do better. We never take for granted that there isn't things that we can do to make her happier. We could be wherever she wants to be. She rules today. Whether it is in, listening to, let's say she goes online and she's checking out and something doesn't work. I mean, we brought the call center in-house. Years ago, we had outsourced it, but I was very concerned that the quality level of who our customer was talking to needed to be someone who understands our product. So we get biz rates. I mean, I think we get 400 a month.
Wow.
I read every single biz rate. My executive team reads every single biz rate. They don't even know when they're emailing us that we're reading it. But we're reading it. Again, love the compliments. I think 95% just tell us how much they love us. I like to focus on the 5%.
Right. And the power of feedback, it really is, it's invaluable. Now, do you feel like you get enough feedback?
I do, because I listen. I go out to the stores. And I have a very open door policy as an executive. Like, you can stop me in the hall, you can grab me when I'm, getting my lunch, or you can send me an email. I like to hear. So, I think your management style helps you, if you want to hear, they want you to know. We have field team all over the field, because especially now with not being able to travel, Atlanta, huge market for us. We've got a person in Atlanta telling us what's going on down there. We've got a person in Chicago telling you, Texas. So, again, you have these people, and it's smart to build a company of a culture of listening. So we do listen.
And with your people, they all sound amazing. I mean, I've only met a few of them through setting this up, and they have been absolutely spectacular and so delightful and beyond just amazing. Like, I want to come hang out with you guys because it's so much fun.
We are a lot of fun. I admit it. If I don't laugh, I'm not having a good day.
That's right.
Because it's closed and nobody's going to die. Okay. It's not an emergency room at a hospital. It's just that, we panic every day. We don't know what to wear. We want it. If you feel good in your clothes, you have a better day. If your feet are comfortable, you have a better day. It gives you confidence. I love the women that we dress, because I'm in the industry, we just know clothes. And when I see a very successful, whether it's a politician or a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, when it comes to clothes, a lot of them need you to help them, to say, no, you can wear this with this. It's this whole personal styling and the ability to have somebody help you get there. It's really good stuff. And then they can go and make a difference in the world. Women is such a good place right now. We're a women owned company. We're a women run company, and we're women dressing women. And I do think we get her. I think that, it makes a difference. And we don't cut corners. We've got really good pattern makers, or like the kitchen in a restaurant. They're the best, at what they do. And you can get, just like you can invest in the back of the house, or you can only make the front of the house beautiful. The back of the house is equally important to us as the front of the house. So I'm not a big corner cutter. We could probably be a lot more profitable if I was. But I think you only get one chance to build a brand. At least for me, it's one and done. And I joke around and say it's my last job in the industry, but I'm not done and I'm not going anywhere. I'm just keep adding great people and listening to them and learning from them. And, I know we have an amazing culture, and, I thank everybody involved in making that happen.
Absolutely. So from the time you started to now, has there been any hiring strategy or boundaries for hiring that have led you to that great team? That's maybe helpful advice out there for someone?
I joke around and tell them nobody leaves unless I leave. You're not allowed to quit unless we don't want you. A couple of things there. There's young people that come into this industry that don't know 7th Avenue. They just don't know the business. And we might be their first job. And sometimes they need to go and learn the industry. And I have breakfasts every year with the new employees. Anyone who's been with the company less than a year. This year was my first Zoom breakfast with them. And I do encourage that, because I had that. And one girl left and she said to me, I couldn't believe you're telling us it's okay to leave. And she went away for a year, and I came into work one morning and there was a bag of candy with a note card. And I was like, something around Halloween time or something. I'm like, I don't eat candy. And, but who left that candy for me? Anyway, with a beautiful card telling me that she was glad she left and she's so happy she's back, that she'll be loyal forever. And, I think we have that type of culture as a company. We have people like, I know you've met King, he's been here 24 years. 24 years. Wow. And they are brand ambassadors to new people as well. It's not just me. There's this beautiful culture. 2 of my partners work here in the US, and they run the kitchen basically. And they are willing to do anything. And so am I. It's not beneath me to put paper in the copy machine or hit the lights off when I leave. It's all, I do believe as an executive, you lead by example, and people see that, and they want to be part of it. And then there's just, I think reputation is probably the most important thing that you carry with you throughout your career, and the company's reputation, because, there's Glassdoor, and it's not just because of that, but we read it, we care about it. We want to know. Exit interviews, I get to read them. I love to read the exit interviews to find out, again, not what they love, but what we can learn from it, what we can do better, to make this, the type of company that you want to work for.
Right, the constant learning, the constant feedback, the constant improvement, right?
Sure.
So how did you know how quickly to grow? Or did that happen organically? Like, I get this all the time, the speed of growth. Can you talk a little bit around that topic? I know I'm not asking it specifically, but I know you can kind of
with pleasure,
right?
With pleasure.
Yeah.
Look, I worked in public companies where you had to grow, not just the top line, but the bottom line. I worked in private companies where, you didn't really know what was going on. And then I got a chance to start a company, and we're conservative. We grow organically. For the 24 years, we only had 1 year that we didn't grow, right? And now we didn't grow crazy. I mean, I like the number 8. Everything that we do ends with an 8. 8's a good feng shui number. We like the 8 knot. It's one of our symbols. if we grow 5 to 8%, that's fine, because I'm not in a hurry. I guess it depends. What do you want? What I want to do is build a brand. It's not looking at how much am I going to take and where am I going to retire with it. Honestly, that's not what drives me. What drives me is the ability to build something and get up every day and love what you do. I think if that would change, maybe everything would change. But so this year, of course, we're going backwards. I said about 35%, which is such a bummer, but I'm not going to let it get me down. Because it's not just you, it's everybody. So it becomes a cash flow game. It becomes, your CFO becomes a really important player. My head of design, extremely motivated, but there's no pressure on me. I think people that have to work in the pressure of having to grow, okay, whether it is you have to grow because you need to grow in order to make money, you should cut your overhead down. You should find ways to multitask, because the game is you have to make money. Even if you break even, it's okay. Once you start losing, there was the early years we lost money. And I remember we were going to maybe sell, part of the company because we needed money. And we found out what the value of the company was. And I'm like, wow, I have worked that hard for 6 years and it's like zero. Okay. And that hits you over the head. So now, we have to figure it out. I had to furlough people. I had to let people go. It was emotionally difficult for me, but you know what, you're running the ship. And if you're not careful, you'll drown everybody. So you have to let some people off, and you have to be nice about it. And you have to, empathy is critical. And, you have to let them know that, if things change, you'll call them back. We hope it changes, but I don't think it's going to be back where it was. I don't just mean in growth and volume. I just mean in the culture and what jobs, the new jobs, people work from home now, and, I used to be really strict. I mean, if you weren't in at 9, I was mad. I'm so over that. Just get your job done, but you have to still come in. Not all the time. I mean, especially right now with COVID, we're being more than fair, because I care about people's safety first. But ultimately, we're not, I know there's companies, nobody's coming in, everybody's working from home. We're in a product. We have to touch it. We have to feel it. We have to see it. So, we'll find the balance. We have to photograph it. We have the models, the videos, like there's just a lot to it.
Well, and I love how you're so honest and real with how much you've grown and changed as a leader. That I used to be like this, but now I'm like this. And, we've learned so much about each other and ourselves, not only this year, but really from when you start your business to looking back, years in your rearview mirror, for sure.
Some advice I would say really quickly. I had a boss. I had a lovely business partner. He was 20 years older than me. He was 20 years smarter than me, because with age, we learn, how to deal. So today, I'm so happy to mentor people and sort of pass that baton back and tell them what I think I would have done, or maybe what I would do if I were them. So it is definitely, especially fashion, it's a young business. It is, but doesn't mean that I've got people here that are way past retirement that just love the industry. So we all mentor and we teach the next group. It's really important.
It is important. And to complement that, really the importance of you having your outlet and your safe venting zone and a place for you to process things, outside of the day-to-day business is probably really powerful too.
Oh, my bike rides are key. My hiking is everything to me. I used to work 7 days a week when we first started the company. That's what you did. Right. I think I took off 4th of July. But now I love my time off. I love, to clear your head and just get a break from it all, because it's sitting right there when you get back. And it's really important to have that balance personally. and, doing things like I can sleep at night. A lot of people ask me, do you sleep? I sleep like a rock because I'm exhausted. And, I have a little notepad next to my bed in case I wake up and there's something, I write it down so that I can go back to sleep. Or I turn off my phone now. So if you call me after 11 or you email me, there's no buzzing. I don't hear anything. And I think that that's really important. Really.
Absolutely. I do the same thing too with the notepads that you don't see, the light of the phone and have that sleepless night. So, oh my goodness, I love this conversation. This is so wonderful. I'm learning so much, and I know that everyone out there is loving this as well. So, do you have, well, first of all, are you more of a morning person or an evening person?
Oh, the fun part is I'm both.
Yeah.
I love the morning. I usually have a trainer. Okay, we start at 6:30. My coffee is everything for me, and I like to get to work before other people. So love my mornings. But I'm also a lot of fun, and I like to do things, and I like to, see people, and I love to watch my news, and I have a lot of energy. I probably have way too much energy, but it is what it is.
And it's good. I love how you're wired, and I'm like relating to. I'm like, this is like me. This is like, you want to just do it all. When do you ever crash and burn? And like, if so, like, how do you know that you're going there? That you just need to turn it off for a second. And what do you do? Do you feel guilty about it ever?
No, but it's hard to deal with it though. What happens to me, and it is if I don't have enough sleep, that's the only issue I'll have. And I know I'm tired, and if I'm not careful, I'll get sick. And I don't get sick a lot. So getting yourself run down. So the weekends do become my sort of recharging. Right. Okay. Because during the week, I'll do 12, 14-hour days, no problem. But the weekends are like the best. Like, what was it, just Saturday? It was pouring rain in New York. Okay. I keep my blinds open in the morning. I like to wake up when the sun comes up. I closed everything down, no alarm clock. I just slept until I woke up, and actually it was like 9:30, and I was like, wow, I'm so excited. So it's a weekend recharging game, or a vacation. Sitting reading a book, that's like a luxury now. And I just started one, and so I'm so excited about it.
Tell me some of the books you're reading.
Well, I like true stories.
Okay.
I'm so inspired by other people, inspired by their journeys, or, I love like Special Olympics and how people overcome in life. I always remind everyone, we're so lucky if you're healthy. Like, what about people who have obstacles? And, I've seen my father got Alzheimer's in his late 50s. Wow. So, it sort of drives you and motivates you to just not feel sorry for yourself. Like, come on, you're healthy. Okay. And you're happy, and, you surround yourself with positive people and stay positive, and all of that inspires me. So love a good book. I'm reading one, it was after 9/11 up on the Hudson River, and I happen to live on the Hudson on the weekends. And so, it's up by West Point, and I'm enjoying it a lot, and how 9/11 changed people. I mean, we were in Lower Manhattan when it happened, and wow. But I wasn't in the tower. So like, what do I have to complain about? That's the kind of things like that, that remind us that life is not easy. And some people, unfortunately, they get shorted out. And so we must stay positive.
Absolutely. Well, a couple more questions, and then I'll let you get on with your busy day.
No problem.
Do you have a favorite piece of clothing or article of clothing in your company that you just adore and love?
Oh, I pulled one out this morning. So no matter what you wear, you need a cashmere wrap. Okay. It's like your whoopee that you have with you all the time. You have it in your bag, you have one in your car, you have, they're just everywhere. And, when it's windy or cool, even your coat doesn't have buttons on it, because every coat doesn't need a button. It just needs a cashmere wrap. So for me, I would say my favorite is a cashmere wrap, and then it's a great fitting pant. I think pants, like shoes and everything else, if you have a great fitting pant, it's like everything looks good because the pant's comfortable.
Absolutely. I have the wide leg pant on, and they fit like a glove. It's amazing. They really are so comfortable.
One thing we just started, and I usually know, and I don't like to personalize. I only want what our customer wants, but I am a customer. So what do I not have in my closet? We launched a denim from Los Angeles. So it's not made in our factory. It's one of the few things we don't make, but it's with an incredible Italian supplier, denim out of LA, that's very sustainable, very important for what we stand for as a company. Real jeans, like we're talking, not the jeans that we would make, but the true jeans with the construction and the washing, and I have 10 of them already, and we just launched them. Wow.
Oh, they're so comfy too.
They are out of control great.
Okay.
And,
nice, do they sit nice, like on your actual waist, not too
incredible. No, they are made for us.
Oh, good.
Get them a little tight, because they talked me into that. I'm like, no, I don't like my clothes that tight. But you know what? My wonderful production team and sales team are like, get a size smaller. And I'm like, I don't want to have to lay on the floor to zip them. But you know what? It's really good if they fit tight, because they just curve to your body. Right. And they become like a glove for you. So I love our new jeans. So I think that came out of COVID, this amazing sort of casualization of our customer. And I've been wearing jeans now to work at least 2 days a week and feeling good with it. It's okay.
Absolutely. I can't wait to wear this top with my jeans. In fact, I might have to get this jeans.
You have to get them.
I'm going to ask King to send me all the show notes, including the link to the jeans, so we can make sure we include it. Because everybody's going to be like, ooh, fun. All right. So my last question here for you is, when you have to kind of give yourself that pep talk, keep yourself going, or snap yourself out of a thought or a whirlwind in your head, what's your personal mantra or saying or go-to that just kind of gets you going?
It's a good one. Okay. So I'll give you my hardest day.
Okay.
The hardest day was St. Patrick's Day. That was March 17th.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to the parade because my parents were born in Ireland. And so I'm sort of into the whole, cultural where my family came from. And everybody canceled their orders that day. And I was, wow. And I actually called King. I hadn't cried yet. And I told him I needed a bottle of Jameson. Okay. And I don't even drink whiskey. Okay. And within 15 minutes, it was in my office, which blew me away. I don't even know. He wasn't even in. How did he get me that? Okay. But that's the King. And so I never opened it. It still sits in my office as a reminder of what a rough day it was. And I did drop a few tears, but just a few. And then I started cleaning. I'm a cleaner. Okay. I realized that everything that you had saved from the beginning I started the company, what we did in 96 and 97 and all those years, I didn't need to save them. It didn't matter. It was never going to go back there. And it has taught me that you have to look to the future. You have to live in the present and the future. The past is just history now. And, that is what drives me. It's like, I really believe Pfizer, I use Pfizer as an example. Like, look at, they spent $2 billion before it got approved. They took a chance that they would be ready. And I think we're still going at it, designing beautiful clothes. Emily's a huge talent to us. Doing everything we can to be ready for her when she's ready. And, I believe that you have to stay focused on what you do. You have to be open-minded, maybe more than ever before. And you have to just embrace change and be like, just because we did it that way, if anything now, I'm like, it doesn't matter how we used to do it. What matters is how are we going to do it? How are we sharing inventory together as the company? Because, we have different inventories for different channels. You've got your wholesale channel, you've got your atelier direct, we've got our web business, we've got our store business, we've got our specialty stores, which have been with us for 24 years. You have to find a way, if you have it and your customer wants it, they're all Lafayette customers. I don't care where you shop. It doesn't matter. You buy directly from us, or you buy from somebody else, or you buy from a department store. We just want the Lafayette experience, and what you get from us is got to be top notch.
Absolutely. And this is so good today. So many helpful things. I loved our conversation.
Great.
Thank you so much, Deirdre, for being here.
So
today.
Welcome. So welcome.
You, and I hope to visit New York soon and see you and King. I got to meet that guy. He's awesome.
And all those entrepreneurs out there, just keep fighting the fight, because it's fun to be an entrepreneur. Right. You get to make a difference.
Absolutely. So good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Wow. What an episode. Did you learn something new? I hope so. I am so happy you were able to be here with us today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a review and I will be sure to read it and respond to you. Also, if you'd like to email me, my email address is yourock@iEvolveConsulting.com. Hit subscribe, and every Tuesday you'll get notification when the next episode drops. We really have some amazing interviews and tips in the future. Anything you need, I'm here for you. I want you to keep your momentum. I want to help you stay accountable. I want you to stay inspired. I want you to evolve. So please let me know what you need, and I'd love to hear from you. Take care until next time.